you all are hanging in there, having a good day. The sun came out here finally after the crazy flooding and waves took out some of our piers. So I'm happy that the sun is finally out. My goal with this class, if I can keep it pretty simple and short, is for you to have a class you can do to wind down in the evening, or I guess even if you'd like, a quick 30-minute kind of open all areas of the body kind of class when you wake up, just to kind of get on the mat. I know that we all don't always have an hour, 45 minutes, hour and a half every day, especially if you're home with young kids. But this is also a practice you can do with your children. It's a yin class, fairly simple. It's just a good way for us to stretch and kind of open the body while also winding down, which I kind of need right now because I actually just did my practice, which is why I look the way I do. So excuse the appearance. Susan, the pants are for you. So let's go ahead and get started in a Shavasana position. And for those of you who are new to yoga, if at all, Shavasana is corpse pose. So we lie down on our backs, extend the feet wide and the hands wide. And I'll show you here what I'm talking about. So it's literally just simply laying on the back. If this isn't comfortable, you can always bend the knees. You can bring the knees to touch, allow the feet to go wide here. And just find a comfortable place for the arms. If you want a bolster under the legs, you can do that to support the lower back. I like to bring my legs into Supta Baddha Konasana, this reclined bound angle, and bringing blocks underneath the legs. So just find your Shavasana position and start to settle in here. Start to relax the entire body. Release and soften the toes, spaces between the toes, soles of the feet, tops of the feet, and ankles. Release and soften the shins, knees, upper thighs, both the front and the back of the legs. Release and soften the lower back, middle back, and upper back. The buttocks, hips, and pelvis. Belly, ribcage, and chest. Release and soften the thumbs, fingers, palms, backs of the hands and wrists. Let the forearms, elbows, upper arms, shoulders, and neck go. Release and soften the chin, mouth, tongue. Maybe lick the lips, take a swallow. Release the cheeks, eyes, nose, eyebrows, space between the eyebrows, forehead, crown of the head. Everything is released and soft. Allow yourself this time to come to the mat mentally. Whenever you come to the mat, thank yourself and also give yourself permission to be here. Start to observe whatever's happening in the headspace, thoughts, emotions, images, memories. Whatever's happening, try to let go of any attachment or any judgment. And continue to do that throughout your practice. We come to the mat to release. Release that attachment, that need for control. Let go of the judgment self-criticism. And every time you come to the mat, learn to love yourself, learn to love your practice. Love your practice for what it was yesterday, for what it will be tomorrow, and love your practice for what it is right now, right here in this moment. Allow it to show you, teach you, and give to you. I call that the magic of yoga. So continue to release and soften. Let everything go in the headspace. Let the body go and find the breath. Start to feel the breath moving into and out of the body here. Don't change the breath yet. Just notice how it feels. Feel the rise and fall of the chest and belly. And when you're ready, slowly and gently begin to deepen the breath. If Ujjayi pranayama is in your practice, you can switch to that, keeping the lips sealed, slightly constricting the back of the throat, like you're fogging up a mirror. And breathe deeply and gently in this way for several rounds. Start to feel the spirit within, feel the energy around you, feel the connectedness we have with one another. And during this very stressful time, we're all finding these amazing ways to stay connected. It's like Mother Earth and the universe said, hey, wait a minute, pause. And we've all paused. We're learning a lot about ourselves right now. So keep finding your mat. Find this peace. The peace that's always been there, never leaves. I'm going to meet you down on the mat. So go ahead and start to draw the left leg in toward the chest. Maybe you keep the right leg bent, maybe extend it out on the mat. And then switch sides. Draw the right leg in. You can flex the feet or not, it doesn't matter. And then draw that left leg in. Coming into Appanasana, you can hold the shins or the knees. You can hold behind the thighs. And maybe just rock side to side on the lower back. And then find some stillness. Go ahead and release the feet down to the mat and just turn the head to the left. You can always close the eyes. And if you're keeping the eyes open, just try to find a drishti or a focal point so that you keep that mind present on the mat. And bring the head back through center, turn it over to the right. And bring the head back through center. Widen the feet to the width of the mat here. And slowly lower the legs over to the left. Inhale to come up. On the exhale, lower to the right. Inhale, come up, lower to the left and pause here. Maybe you bring that left foot on top of the right knee. Maybe you extend the arms wide to a T. Maybe turn the head over to the right. Just find the pose that works with your body. And if the head is turned, bring it back to center. If the left foot is on top of the knee, go ahead and uncross. And then draw the legs back up. And we'll switch sides, lower the legs over to the right. Again, maybe bring the right foot on top of the left knee. Extend the arms wide to a T. Palms can be up or down. And maybe turn the head over to the left here. And if the head is turned to the left, bring the head back through center. Uncross if the right foot is on top of the left. And then draw the knees back up. Pause for a moment. Maybe bring one hand to the heart, one hand to the belly. Think of something you're grateful for here. And bring the arms wide to a T once more and cross the right foot over the left knee. And pause for a moment here, maybe press the leg away. Maybe stay here, maybe begin to draw the left leg toward the chest, holding behind the thigh. If it feels better to extend that leg up to the ceiling, you can. Try to maintain flexion in the right foot to protect the knee. Take another breath in, and on the exhale, lower the foot down if it's lifted. Keeping the legs crossed, bring the arms into goalpost arms, so the arms are at a 90-degree bend. Slightly shift the bum to the right as you allow that sole of the foot to lower over to the left. So the sole of my foot is on the mat. Relax through that left bottom hip. Maybe turn the gaze over to the right. And if the head is turned, bring it back to center. Lift the legs back up. Square off the bum. Uncross that right foot, and we'll switch sides. Maybe you stay here and just push that leg away. Maybe you begin to draw the right leg toward the chest. Again, if it feels better, you can straighten the leg. And hold here wherever is comfortable, the thigh, shin. Try to flex that left foot. And if the right foot is lifted, go ahead and release it down. Come back to those goalpost or goddess arms. Slightly shift the bum to the left and allow the legs to lower over to the right. Set the sole of that foot up on the mat here. Really relax through the right bottom hip. It's hard to do. I actually hurt, a lot of you know I hurt my hip recently. And so for me, this pose it's a killer, but it works. This figure 4 supine spinal twist. I guess my point is that I feel a lot of tightness and tension through the left hip, and it makes me want to tense everything up. And I really have to focus on letting the lower body go here. let it go. And if you really focus on letting go, you'll notice how much tension you're actually holding in the lower body. You can always turn the head in the opposite direction. It just adds depth to the pose. And if the head is turned, bring it back to center before lifting the legs back up. Really engage through the core. Square off the hips. Uncross the leg here. Pause for a moment. And I'd like for you to have a bolster, a couple blankets, a block handy. We're going to come into a restorative bridge pose. So the feet are hips width distance, meaning those heels are in line with our hip bones, our hip points. Okay, everybody feel those hip points. I know some of us with the soft tissue, it's hard to feel them. But that's where we want our heels to be in line with. And also keeping the knees in that same alignment. So you imagine you have a yoga block between the legs. So we don't allow our knees to fall wide in this pose. Inhale to lengthen the spine and flatten the back. And on the exhale, start to lift the buttocks, hips, and pelvis up toward the ceiling here. And then relax the body on the block, the pillows, the blankets. Relax the arms. Maybe find your Jnana Mudra by touching the index fingers to the thumbs to allow for increased focus and concentration. And even though we're relaxing completely, you can see my ribs right here. I'm still always engaging through the core to protect the spine. Maybe you want to explore extending the left leg and see how this feels. Bring the left leg back, extend through the right. Bring the right foot back. Maybe you stay here, maybe extend both the legs. And again, try to release and soften. I'm feeling a little bit of pinching right now in my right lower back. So I'm going to just widen the legs. Ah, that released. Very nice. And if there's still, this sensation that's just increasingly getting more and more uncomfortable, just bend the legs again. Doesn't matter. And if your legs are extended, go ahead and bring them back up. Pause for a moment, engage through that core. You can probably feel that engagement. If you're having, sensitivity in the lower back, you feel it when you engage through the core. It kind of takes the pain away. So go ahead and lift up off the block, set it aside. Come back down to the mat, pause for a moment here. And then bring the soles of the feet to touch. Allow the knees to go wide in Supta Baddha Konasana, one of my favorite poses. You can bring in blocks, blankets, pillows, bolsters under the knees, if that feels better for you. You can relax the hands. You can find placement on the body. If you're on the body, maybe bring the index fingers and thumbs to touch. Place the fingers over the lower belly here and just feel the breath. Feel the breath as it moves through the body. And imagine that energy that's flowing with each breath in, each breath out. There's so much energy that happens. Feel it, visualize it. And go ahead and draw the knees back up together. Set the blocks aside, but still have them handy also with your other props. I keep forgetting, I know you all are at home and you might not have yoga props available, but really there's so many different props we can use in the home. Pillows, blankets, awesome. So for a moment, go ahead and roll over onto the belly. Coming into Crocodile, stack the hands, rest the forehead on the stacked hands. And let's bend the knees and start to windshield wiper the legs again. Try to move with the breath here. I'm obviously lifting my head so you can hear me, but keep the forehead down to protect the cervical spine. And as you windshield wiper the legs, continue to engage through the core and move with the breath. And then find some stillness. Reach the arms forward, stretching from the tippy toes to the fingertips. Keep the forehead down. Imagine you have somebody pulling your hands and a different person pulling the toes. And bring the hands under the shoulders here. Tuck the toes and either move through modified plank or just shoot up to plank here. Bringing the hands under the shoulders. You can always lower the knees. Let the fire happen here. Shift high to down dog for a moment. Let that inversion happen. Come forward again to plank. Maybe you lower the knees. Keep the elbows in, come all the way down to the mat. Pause again in Crocodile. And then have your props handy. I'm going to place a block lengthwise and on the shortest height. I'm going to lay down onto the blocks with my shoulders and upper back. This is always uncomfortable with cork blocks. But I'm going to come into this supported Matsyendrasana, this fish pose, and either extend the legs, allow the arms to go really wide here, allow that heart space to open. Maybe you find those Baddha Konasana legs again. Just see what works for you. I'm actually going to play with this block under my head. That's not comfortable. So we just really want that entire chest space opening. Find some stillness. Come back to the breath here. Think about why you're here. Why did you come to your mat? And also, meditate on maybe what you'll take with you when you leave. And for just a moment, arms overhead again. Reach from the tippy toes to the fingertips. Keep a prop handy. Gently and carefully come out of the pose. Come down onto the back. We'll move into our final inversion, Viparita Karani. You can always send your legs up the wall. You can bring in a prop underneath the lower back and extend the feet up toward the ceiling. You can point and flex the feet. You can widen the legs. You can scissor the legs. Just move in whatever way feels good and then find some stillness. You can always draw the knees into the chest for a moment. You can always take a happy baby or wrap peace fingers around big toes here. And then send the legs back up. Try to keep the heels in line with the hips again. You all can stay here. I'm going to come out of the pose. You can always stay in Viparita Karani, legs up the wall or the invisible wall. You can come down out of Viparita Karani into Shavasana for final relaxation. Find your comfortable corpse pose. Again, bringing in whatever props you need. And I'll let you pause here for a moment. I always recommend at least 5 minutes in Shavasana. It's better to do 10 or 15. So however much time you have, and maybe if you're feeling really good here in whatever pose you're holding, stay here. Continue to release and soften. Find the breath. And then we'll all come back and meet in Sukhasana, this comfortable, easy seat. Bring the hands to heart center. Pausing for a moment. Thank yourself for showing up, for moving a little bit. And then lift the hands to the center of the forehead in honor of mindful thought. Bring the hands to the lips in honor of mindful speech. And back down to heart center, always being mindful of love, kindness, compassion, and empathy for yourself first, and then for all others. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you live with ease. Let us bow to one another as we say, Namaste. Namaste, yogis. Love you all.